My friends, I hope you are getting into bite-off season as much as I am. I'm so excited about what I'm seeing in the Facebook group and the forums and everything. And I hope you guys are enjoying these mental workouts, these 20-minute mental workouts. Remember, in 20 minutes a day, just 20 minutes a day, your brain too can be ready to make NES games. Super excited about this. Now, don't forget, I loaded my project. It's all still here. It's underneath my plus sign right here. Let's take a quick look at what we did up to this point. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. We went ahead and we did, come on, and assemble, and we did this. So we've got this character who moves around, collects diamonds, and we can even see our score, our lives, our the money that we've collected, and all that stuff. Now, what we're going to do is, what I don't like is that it's going up by 100 each time. So I want it to go up by 1 by each time. Or maybe I want it to go by 10 by each time. Or maybe I want to make different tiles and make one go up by 1 and one go up by 10. Whatever the case, I'm going to change that. And where I'm going to change that is in my prize tile type script. So we had made all this stuff, and if you remember, we went ahead and we did these collisions right here, right? And we did this collision right here for a prize tile, which was tile type number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I turn on my collisions, I can see those are 5. Yes, they are. Awesome. If I go into my script settings right here, so I went to settings, script settings. I'm going to widen this out like that by grabbing the corner and scroll down to the group that says tile types. And I can see there's one called prize maze base. I can hit edit. Now, I recommend getting Notepad++ and assigning your ASM scripts to open with Notepad++. Make your life a little bit easier. I'll hit edit, and it'll automatically open in Notepad++. And I don't know why my computer's just being a little bit slow to open these files. I apologize. I'm going to close everything but this. I was showing a whole lot of other stuff. That's probably why it's taking so long. Okay, so here we go. This is the line that we want to talk about, and I want to talk about exactly what this does. So the first thing is, it is adding a value to the variable called myScore. If we look, here is the macro function. This is a macro function, and it is explained exactly what it does. So this first argument is how many places this variable has. If we remember from our user variables, we had 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we had 6 places right here, right? 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0 to 5, it's 6 places. So that's 6 places. We want to tell it has 6 places. That way it knows if it gets to 9999999 and you add one more to it, it's not going to add another 1. It's over. It goes all the way back to 0, right? Then it wants to know the variable, the root variable, the home variable that we're changing. And that's right here, my score, and then the 5 bytes after that, right? The 6 bytes that start at my score. And then it wants to know, okay, how much are we going to change it by? And we want to add 1, and we want to change which place. Well, if I put 0, it's going to change this place. If I put 1, it's going to change this place. If I put 2, it's going to change this place. If I put 3, it's going to change this place. So let me go ahead and put 0 here instead. And so now we expect my score to go up by 1 in the zeros place. So this variable, which is going to make it look like it goes up by 1. And I'm going to hit this. And there we go. Goes up by 1. Exactly like I would expect. Also, what I could do is, instead of 1, let's say I want it to go up by 50. That means I want it to go up by 5 in the tens place, which 0 is the ones place, 1 is the tens place. So this would go up 5 in the tens place. This would make it go up 50. Let's check that. So I have very expensive gems that are worth $50. Let's see. So that's just a little bit of an explanation of how that works. So now you can adjust these the way that you want to. I want to make something to stay away from. We'll come back to adding different types of tiles another day. Today, I want something moving around this room, some kind of monster. So familiar stuff. I'm going to come over here to my pixel editor, and I'm going to open another tile set. And the tile set that I'm going to open is the one that's called monster 0_00. Okay, so these, just like the player, are 8x8 tiles. I'm probably gonna make one that's the same size as my player, so it's that big. And again, I don't want to use background palettes. I want to use sprite tile sets. Now, do not be fooled. This is not the color that it's going to be. And I don't want to start changing these colors if I've already set up my player palette and this is it. I don't want to change this color because if I change this, guess what? My player's face is going to be green. Oh no, that's not what I want to do. Instead, what I probably want to do is I probably want to name this one. I could actually rename these. So this will be my hero and I can rename it. And you can see these all change to hero. And what I want to do is I want to change this palette maybe to, I don't know, green monsters. Green monsters, okay? Oh, no, not green, because that's going to be really hard to see against my green background. So how about red monsters? Okay, and I'm going to hit rename. And you can see now I've got two palettes, and they each have a name, the hero and the red monsters. So now I can mess around with this all I want. Again, though, this is not attaching itself to the graphic. So this is just a reference, and now I do have a palette called red monsters, which I'm going to want to use when I'm actually constructing the object. We'll get to that in a second. I want 3 shades of red. I want this guy to be red and red and redder. So red and red, and you know what? Actually, I'm going to make a shadow for or on the outside blue as well. So I'm going to go ahead and make I don't know, another square man because they're easy and quick. I'll make better graphics later. Square, and remember, if I want to see the actual colors instead of the RGB, I just change it to enable palette translation, and I'm going to make him. He's going to be red on the inside. And then the dark red will be his angry scowl. Remember, don't use black because black will be transparent unless you want him to be like ghostly or something like that. How about that? He's an angry monster. There we go. And I can even use the blue to... There we go. Okay, awesome. So now I'm going to hit the save button, and that's going to update my tile set. Now I'm going to come over here into Monster Graphic Banks. It's going to look very familiar from the hero objects that we did. I'm going to open up Graphic Bank 0 and click on Monsters. This is a quick way to iterate through monsters. Now, I'm going to make a suggestion. In your game, whatever's in this first slot is going to be relegated to your player, most likely. Usually, for me, I relegate whatever's in the second slot to things like effects or my weapon or other things related to game objects. And I use these 2 slots for my monsters. So I'm going to click on subpalette 3, and I'm going to choose my red monsters for subpalette 3. This is still not assigning the color to this object, but what it is doing is it's saying, okay, I'm going to use subpalette 3 for this monster, and in the room, we will tell it that it's going to use this red monsters palette. I'll show you that in a second. What I do want to do is the same thing. I want to make it too wide, too tall, and I'm going to make it that. If you want to see what I did right there to make it that quick, I just held shift and dragged, and it did all that I dragged across in one shot. Now I'm going to, before I do anything, I'm going to name this red guy. And you can see my save button is still there. If I go ahead and I make a change and I save it again, it made another one. If I save it again, it made another one. What I want to do instead is I want to do one, save it, and then click on that one, and you'll notice the save button disappeared. That means it's automatically saving my changes now as I go. That's what I want to do while I'm editing this monster. So I'm going to go into object details. Now I'm not iterating on new monsters. I'm literally working on this red guy. You can see the difference. Now I'm iterating on monsters versus if I actually select the one that I've created, boom, I don't see a save button. That means I'm just editing this monster. That's what I want. So I'm going to go into object details. Details. I want him to be a monster type object. I'm going to give him kind of a slow speed compared to my player. Full on acceleration speed. When he hits a solid object, he's not going to stop. I'm going to make him turn around and reverse his direction. When he hits the edge, if he ever hits the edge, I'm also going to make him move in the opposite direction. I'm going to give him a bounding box. And again, I'm not going to make it go all the way to the edges. I can't really see it because it's also red, but you can kind of see. There we go. I'm not going to make it go all the way to the edges to keep it inside. I'm going to get to actions in a second, but let's look at how to put him in the room first to make sure that he's working at this point. So now that I've got this monster, I'm going to go to monster groups. I'm going to make a new monster group here, and I'm going to put this guy in it. And I'm going to call it level 1 monsters or something like that and hit save. And I'll fill these other slots with other monsters. And you can see I've now got a monster group called level 1 monsters. Now if I go to my overworld go to my screen, go to my screen info, go to my day monsters. Okay, this is where I need to set that information. First, I need to say, okay, day monster group, what do I want? Level 1 monsters. Oh, but he's the wrong color. Why is he the wrong color? Because he uses sub palette 3. Whatever palette we have here, that's what color he's going to show up on the screen. Now, we made a palette specifically for red monsters. That's what I want on the screen. And I want it to be in sub palette 3. We want hero palette to be in this slot. This is where I'll probably put things like, I'll make one called like effects palette or something like that. And then red monsters and maybe blue monsters go here. Okay. Hit OK. Now that I've set that, if you ever try and add a monster, you right click on the screen. If you ever don't see this stuff, it's because you did not set your monster group. So now that I've set my monster group, it's going to let me place monster 1 and place monster 2. And let's just make sure that when I run into them, the death happens, just like if I were to run into one of the spikes here. Let's see. So if I walk into this guy, and it does. So the same thing happens if I run into spike, and if I run into the third time, game restarts. Awesome. So it's working as expected, but it's not very fun. Let's make the monsters move around the screen. So I'm going to go to my red guy. I'm going to go to my object details, and I'm going to go to actions. Now, this is where I have a bunch of predefined actions. We're going to learn how to add actions. We're going to learn how to code some actions. We're going to learn all kinds of stuff. But for right now, we've got some that already exist. I'm going to add move random, and I'm going to set a timer for, I don't know, 5. And when that timer goes off, that's this end action, it's going to repeat, which means it's going to move random again. So he's going to change direction every 5 steps or so, which is, I don't know, half a second or 2 seconds. I can't remember exactly how much. But let's take a look. Now, if I were to close that and test my game, he will now move around the room at random, and after a couple seconds, he will pick a new random direction, and he'll bounce off the walls. So now I have to sort of stay away from him, Pac-Man style, in order to get these objects. Now, let's say I want a blue version of this guy. I want the same kind of thing, but I want a blue version of this guy, and I want to be faster. What I can do is I'm going to duplicate this monster, so everything is set up the same. I'm going to duplicate him, and then I'm going to click on him, and I'm going to call him blue guy. And I can see I've got this sub palette right now is showing me the hero palette. What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose this sub palette, this unused one. I'm going to call it blue monsters, rename it, and I'm going to then change my colors to like a light blue and a dark blue, and I'll keep it white. We'll just make it, that'll be my blue monsters palette. And what I have to do is I have to go through and I have to change each of these colors by clicking on the tile and coming over here. Now each of these tiles is going to use sub palette 4 instead of sub palette 3. All right, so if I go back to my red guy, he uses sub palette 3. Doesn't really matter what I have here, but basically, if I want to see it, here's an example of how this guy looks. Here's an example of how this guy's going to look because he's using sub palette 4. Doesn't matter what I put here. In fact, I'm going to intentionally put the wrong palette right here. I'm going to go into object details. I'm going to turn his speed up to 40. I don't know, that might be too fast, but let's see. And I'm going to change his actions. So check this out. I'm going to go to actions. I'm going to make him move random, but instead of making him repeat, I'm going to make him in advance. That means he's going to go here. And then I'm going to make him stop moving, set a timer. At the end of that timer, I'm going to make him go to first. And now that's going to set up a looping system like this. To start here, move in a random direction. After the 5 ticks, maybe I'll make it a slightly different speed. After 4 ticks, he's going to advance to here. Now, for 4 ticks, he's going to stop. And then when that's done, he's going to go to first, and he's going to do this over. So this guy's going to move a bit faster, but he's going to stop. Then he's going to move, stop, move, stop, move, stop. Okay, hit close. And notice how I put the wrong sub palette here. I did that on purpose. It doesn't even matter what sub palette I put here. This is just for reference. The important thing is I created him with sub palette 4. When I go to my, I got to go to my monster groups. I got to put them in my monster group. Blue guy. So now I've got red guy and blue guy. I'm going to hit save. And you notice it overwrote my monster group. Go into my overworld. And if I put him in this room, now he'll be available to me. Place monster 3, you notice now I got blue guy. Oh no, but he's the wrong color. Why? If I go to screen info and I go to my day monsters, he uses this sub palette. What is that sub palette showing me on the screen? Hero. If I did this, it would show me this sub palette. I want this to show me blue monsters, the sub palette for blue monsters. Bam, got it. Now look, shows me the right color. And if I test my game, he's going to move faster, but he's going to stop moving after a second. So he needs to catch his breath. And there he goes, and he stops. And so he's a little bit harder to sort of get around, but I can sort of get around him. Oh, and if I run into him, I die. And so now we actually have a way to lose this game, and we've developed a few AI-controlled monsters. And that didn't even take long. We didn't even get to 20 minutes today. So congratulate yourself. Pat yourself on the back. You're doing awesome. We're going to stop this video here for tonight because I think it's a great stopping point. Feel free to play with these monsters. Make a couple different ones. Now you know how to add monster groups. You know how to work with the palettes and add a couple of different AI. I hope that helps. Don't forget, be part of Bite Off. Use this to create a game with which you can compete. You are eligible. If you have never opened NES Maker in the world and are just seeing this video right now and you say, I would like to do that, I want to see what I can make for this cool competition, you can. You can follow this tutorial, make your own game by the time we get to the end and we start going off in your own direction, and submit it. You are invited, and I hope you join. So thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.